An artificial intelligence with James Corden's voice? James Corden doing the Daisy monologue is just something I cannot get out of my mind. Otherwise known as How to Succeed in Ruining 2001 Without Really Trying. To all my theater friends who get that reference, bonus points. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to yet another brand new movie review. And today we're going to be hopping on HBO Max to take a look at Superintelligence. It's directed by Ben Falcone, and it stars his wife Melissa McCarthy as the most average human being walking the face of the planet. Okay. And basically, Melissa McCarthy's character is chosen for a study of human behavior conducted by an all-powerful AI. And it takes on the most calming voice to whomever they interact with. In this case, it's voiced by James Corden. And the AI is deciding whether or not to enslave, save, or destroy humanity. And it eventually all comes down to Melissa McCarthy's character to prove that people are worth saving. So these supercomputer type films are a staple in Hollywood. We see this type of flick all the time. Supercomputer comes in, it wants to destroy humanity, big Armageddon-style mass destruction. And it leads to this big, exciting action climax, usually, in these big science fiction extravaganzas. And there you go, it's a proven formula that works. And Superintelligence doesn't really take the formulaic route a lot of the time. There are no big action set pieces to be found with Superintelligence, and I'll give them credit for at least trying something different. But just because the movie's different doesn't make it all that intriguing, unfortunately. I could never really find a point where I got into Superintelligence. Actually, that's a lie. One thing this movie I think has going for it is James Corden. I find him really entertaining, okay? I'm a theater person. He's a theater person. I like him. And he does have a lot of really fun moments to shine here. There's times where he'll go the usual James Corden shtick, but there's times where he can also be very monotone and menacing. But I guess my issue is that this AI is sort of making up its mind. Like, it hasn't made a decision yet? That's very human-like. And this isn't a human, this is a computer. It's not really supposed to have feelings or emotions, and yet we see him doing carpool karaoke with Melissa McCarthy. It just felt really, really weird. Like, think about it. Imagine if Hal from 2001 actually showed emotions in his decision-making. Like, how unintimidating does that sound? And I mentioned her already, so I might as well just talk about her a little bit. Melissa McCarthy. But I think this is another supremely talented individual. Every time she pops up on screen, I know that I'm bound to see a really fun performance out of her. Now, the movie Bridesmaids is the first thing that pops up to mind whenever I think of Melissa McCarthy. I think she's absolutely hilarious there. I mean, even in the new Ghostbusters reboot, which I'll admit I was not the biggest fan of, she is one of the few shining bright spots of that film. In this film, she is the most average person you could find walking the streets. Now, I am all for an actor exploring different parts of their range. Trust me, as an actor, I know. I always salivate at the opportunity to try something new, or better yet, to play against type. I've already mentioned that in a good amount of reviews here on the channel, but in this film, I really respect that she gets to explore her range here, but it just feels like she's so restrained here. This screenplay does her no favors. It does not take advantage of what Melissa McCarthy is good at. She can't really be the enthusiastic ray of sunshine that we've all come to know her as. And it makes her boring? I never thought I would say that, but to me, I'm just going off of what I saw. It just felt like they were holding her back. And it got to the point where I kind of feel like she was miscast in this role. Now, keep in mind, this opinion is not indicative of her talents. I think she is awesome, but I just don't think that she was the right person for this role. Now, I could see someone like a Kristen Wiig or a Tina Fey pulling this off. Or if you want to use Melissa McCarthy, go ahead. Just go outside the box then. Have her be the weirdo. Have her go bananas on screen like in Bridesmaids. Just don't use this script. Because like I said, the script does her no favors and it does not play to her strengths at all. And I think that right there is very indicative of the movie's larger problem. It's very safe. It doesn't really feel like it's taking a whole lot of chances. It doesn't really think all that much outside the box, really. And perhaps worst of all, Superintelligence has no clue what it wants to be at its core. There are times where it'll be this comedic romp with Melissa McCarthy and James Corden. There's times where it'll be a romantic drama with her storyline with Bobby Cannavale. And there's times where it'll be this world-ending Armageddon-like science fiction thriller. And I was just sitting there like, just pick one or the other and run with it. So therefore, the script feels very tonally inconsistent. And honestly, I hate to say it, it just wasn't that funny. I will admit though, there was one bit involving Brian Tyree Henry, who was one of the bright spots of this movie. He might have been my favorite part, actually. There was one reference to the movie The Help involving Brian Tyree Henry that had me in stitches. And it's a shame, because the film does have some small flashes of potential here. And thank God it wasn't horrendously awful. Some of you could still have a nice fun little time with Superintelligence, but honestly, it was kind of miscast. And for a film whose antagonist is thinking about ending humanity, this one was just not very eventful. I'm gonna give Superintelligence a D+. I've also got to say, I love Seattle. I loved seeing that as the setting for this. As a diehard Seahawks fan also, I loved seeing what was CenturyLink Field pop up every now and then. But it feels like Ben Falcone was obsessed with just having establishing shots before every single scene of the Seattle skyline. By the way, if you guys want a drinking game for this film, here you go. Take one shot for every time you see the Space Needle pop up. You're welcome. But like I said, Superintelligence is not the worst movie in the world, but I think it's extremely underwhelming because there are honestly multiple different paths they could have taken this. And all of these paths would have made this film infinitely more fun than it was. But ultimately, they just played it way too safe. They went down the path of least resistance. But safe doesn't necessarily equal quality in a lot of cases. It honestly equals boring here. But have you guys seen Superintelligence? Do you guys enjoy it? Do you not? Are you looking forward to seeing it? I would love to hear all of those thoughts and discuss them with you further down in the comment section below. And if you guys are enjoying my content and you guys want to continue supporting the channel, if you guys want to continue discussing cinema and all things entertainment with me, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can so you guys can stay in the loop anytime I upload a new video. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a thumbs up on your way out too. I'd really appreciate that. And as always, look out for more exciting content hitting the channel very soon, including the conclusion to my David Fincher playlist. And also, I just announced that over the week of Christmas, I'm going to be reviewing 5 of my favorite holiday classics. Lastly, thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Thank you guys for clicking on the video. I really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. With all that being said, back talk, commence.